Let's head around the Inside Politics table, ask our great reporters to share a nugget or two from their notebooks. Nia Malika Henderson.
Scott Walker, who's been slumping a bit in the polls in Iowa and as well as New Hampshire, on Tuesday in Minnesota will unveil his alternative to Obamacare. This comes, of course, not only as Walker's campaign is teetering a bit, but also as the number of uninsured Americans is at a record low. He will unveil a plan that will talk about expanding affordability, expanding choices, and eliminating waste in healthcare. We'll see what kind of traction he gets from this. And it also, I think, puts the onus on other candidates who certainly want to repeal Obamacare. What is their alternative in terms of replacing it?
Just going to say it is a great thing when candidates actually get specific.
That's right.
God forbid. Thank you. Jonathan?
Well, she's not as well known as Adelson or Koch, but Betsy DeVos, who's a big Michigan donor, is going to be staging a big education summit Wednesday in New Hampshire, sort of entering the fray of some of these super donors. And she has a pretty big crowd coming from the candidates. Jeb Bush is coming. You're going to see John Kasich coming, Carly Fiorina coming. A combination of a hot issue on the right, which is education and vouchers, a big donor, and a key state.
And more substance. Amen for that again. MJ?
So here's something Bill Clinton said this week that actually didn't get a lot of pickup. He said that there was not a single piece of evidence to show that when he repealed Glass-Steagall, that led to the financial crisis. This is a line that is going to haunt Hillary Clinton. When she talks about, being tough on Wall Street and wanting to rein in big banks, she has a president, a husband and a former president who says the policies that I proposed did not lead to the financial crisis. And at some point, she will have to answer to that. And you watch the crowds that turn up at Martin O'Malley rallies and Bernie Sanders rallies. They are holding Bring Back Glass-Steagall posters.
Bill Clinton, not always an asset, is that what you're saying?
Not always.
Not always.
As hard as he tries.
So in addition to appearing at that education forum this week in New Hampshire, Jeb Bush going to keep the focus on national security. Of course, it's gotten a lot of criticism from members of both parties about that speech he gave on Iraq. But in talking to some foreign policy experts, they pointed out a lot of what he's actually proposing is pretty mainstream and bipartisan. They pointed to a op-ed in the Washington Post last month co-written by Michelle Flournoy, of course, is considered to be a possible defense secretary under Hillary Clinton, and Richard Fontaine. They proposed, among other things, helping out the Sunnis and the Kurds more directly, embedding special forces with Iraqi security forces going after ISIS, deploying forward air spotters to help pick out some air raid sites, and then a new global campaign against ISIS. Well, guess who else is proposing that? Jeb Bush. And so they point out that, while he's getting a lot of flack for this right now, the eventual Democratic nominee might be proposing the same things, so it's smart of him to get out in front.
Smart of him to get out in front. You mean you don't just have to blow up the oil fields?
No.
Never mind. Never mind. I'll close with this a little bit more in the conversation about Joe Biden's deliberations about whether or not to run in 2016. Even those helping the vice president aren't sure just what he's going to decide. They say he could return to Washington as soon as this week and say, never mind, I've thought about it, but I'm not going to run. Or more likely, they say, he could wait another 4 to 6 weeks and mull it over. As he does, here are some of the calculations according to several informed sources involved in the discussions. The vice president has been told it will be hard, but not impossible, to pull together a solid campaign team. He's been told he should think first of an Iowa to Nevada strategy, figuring that after the first 4 nominating contests, he would know whether he can topple Hillary Clinton from her frontrunner status or whether a third Biden run for the presidency would end in disappointment, like the first 2. And that such a campaign through Nevada would cost ballpark $25, $30, and $100, as in roughly $25 million to $30 million in hard money. Those are the smaller donations for the official campaign organization, and then another $100 million for a super PAC. He's also been told October 1st it's considered by most of his top advisors as the latest he could wait to decide whether to get in. There is this, a joke among close Biden advisors, that he should wait until the morning of October 13th. And then show up for the first Democratic debate that night in Nevada. Don't count on it, but it's fun to talk about.